Chat, it's time. I am a little bit late to the game. I've seen already, like, pretty much everyone and their mom has already made tier lists for the season. I wanted to give it a little bit more time. I typically always give it at least a week. If you've never seen my Overwatch ones, I always give it at least a week. And the reason for that being, I like to be sure that I'm like pretty confident in what we're gonna end up putting out. And if we've learned anything from previous season 0, is that sometimes characters are overhyped or underhyped or thought of as really good or not thought of as really good, and then are discovered later to be better than we expected. I know people are gonna skip to the end of this, so I'm gonna make another thing at the end. But I'm going to, when I go through this, talk about if I think that they're even underrated or overrated by quite a bit, because there's certain team ups in here that I think have not been explored enough yet. But all right, first off, let me rearrange. If you're not familiar with these, I always do tanks first and supports last. First up, Captain America. Freedom Bum. Yep, as some of you guys know. Got some buffs this season. Not many buffs, and a lot of people were like, what was the point? And I was one of the probably maybe few people who thought he doesn't really need many buffs. Maybe it was like the tank version of Wolverine, where you just needed people to figure him out a little bit more. I think Captain America, unironically, is pretty damn good. Quite possibly one of the most slept on characters in the game. However, not many people have experience on him, and they get really scared. What I mean by that is they always want to have a Strange, they want to have a Groot, they want to have a Magneto, they want to have a Hulk. And so if somebody locks Cap in their game, they're already kind of shaking in their boots a little bit. That being said though, I'm gonna actually pretty high on Cap. And I'm gonna put him here for now. And I'm only putting him here just to talk to you really quick, because I think this is where the potential is. I think the Thor team up with Captain America, like Thor, Cap, Storm, in my opinion, is the strongest team up in the game right now. Like at this very moment. No bans. Like if you locked into a game and you're like, we gotta play the strongest thing possible, I think the strongest thing possible is Thor, Cap, Storm. I think it's busted. I think it's so strong, but you never see it because Storm always gets banned or something like that. That being said, everyone always defaults to the Hulk, Iron Man, Strange one, but that's why Hulk gets banned every game. So we don't get to see it a whole lot. But the reason why I think Cap is really, really good is with that team up, you can actually kill things, right? Like you can beat them in 1v1. The Thor team up throws for Captain America actually do a really good amount of damage, and they bounce if you're near team or near enemies. For those who never saw, I did an accidental bronze to GM Captain America, learning him when I was leveling up an account to learn other stuff on. And I found then, I was like, damn, I think he slept on. In the current meta, he might be here. But I'm gonna keep him here because I think he has more potential than people realize. Even though in the current game, right now, you probably don't want to pick Cap because of strength. You want to pick Cap to learn him, get good at him, and then dominate lobbies. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Strange, I think Strange is actually still really good. I have a small hot take. I think Strange took a bigger hit to his E than people realize. I definitely feel my impactfulness went down after the patch from season 0 to season 1. I know a lot of people are like, you know, like what's going on over there? I don't know if like, you know, he's still like super strong. He's a must pick. Everyone has to play him. I'm starting to think that you can play a game without Strange and still win. Like I think Cap Thor works. I think who had it myself? Regardless though, I think Strange is still the best tank in the game, but I think he's very quickly losing. Venom. Okay, Venom's a weird one because Venom, again, I think has insane potential. I think Venom Spiderman potentially could be the next unlocked comp that people have not been playing yet. The thing that gatekeeps it more than anything is Namor. If you ban Namor, Spidey Venom just free kills your backline. The only way I've seen to stop it is triple support. And it's triple support that actually helps each other because supports are right now like so strong. But picking Venom on a game in to game out basis, I would put him in B. But for potential that I think is locked right now, I'm gonna put him in A. I think it's, I just wanna put this out there as like a, hey, you know, this is what my gut feeling is still saying. You know, in actual rank games, I don't see a ton of Venoms, but when I see the Venoms and they have the proper team up, and I only played like 2 games versus Namor, or sorry, 2 games where Namor got banned and they played Spidey Venom, my backline just disappeared every fight. There was no way to save them. You couldn't play Penny to web them. You couldn't play for Peel. You couldn't play Magneto and bubble them. Didn't matter. They died every single time. I think it's low key, like very close. Not the strongest, but it's close. Groot. All right, this might be where I'm getting into uncharted hot take territory already. I think Groot is potentially one of the most slept on characters in the game. And the reason I think that with Groot is because he has 2 combos that are insta-kills. 1, literally through every support ult in the game. Luna, Cloak, both of them together, throw in a Mantis ult too, get 3 support ults, you still die. You know what it is? It's Groot Moon Knight. You cannot survive. It's not possible. If you get a perfect Groot Moon Knight ult, you legitimately can't live. Not possible. They die. Through Ulun ult, even stacking it with another support ult. If they don't hard stack both support ults, you can actually still get kills with the Groot Namor whale, like the that's actually extremely strong. And it also just works well with just like other characters, you know? Like if you played Overwatch, you have the Zarya grab, like everyone just shoots into the grab, you shoot into the Groot thing. Also, there's some small things on Groot that like even hell, I even learned this week because I haven't played a whole lot of Groot since like the first beta. And the amount of shields your Iron Wall gives you while it's up is gross. Like everyone knows that the grass walls attack, right? But the Iron Wall, like if you have that up and you and your teammates are attacking within 20 meters of the Iron Wall, you're getting like 40 shields each time. So you are like overhealing as you're fighting, and you already have 800, 850 HP, and it goes up, it goes up to an 1100 HP cap. That is disgustingly high. This is again ranked. It's probably gonna be very different with like scrim meta and very different for like if there ends up being pro play meta or tournaments, you know what I mean? But like, in my opinion, you wanna like win rank games, you walk into a rank game, you have your duo play Moon Knight, you play Groot, you will have the guarantee of as long as you hit your combo every single time, you can cap all 3 points on every escort map, at least with 0 time on the clock. You can absolutely win every single point because you can at least build Groot ult and Moon Knight ult twice per point and just slowly chip your way through. Even if the rest of your team blows bubbles, you will win as long as you get a good Groot ult and you get a good Moon Knight ult. And for that reason, I have to put him in S because that is so strong. Another one, which might be another hot take. I think Thor is super slept on. I think Thor is the next potential sitting in the back rooms waiting to take over the game type, not take over the game, sorry, take over the tank meta type tank. The reason I think Thor is really strong is he does a lot of DPS. He's really, really damage heavy. So you have to be smart with your awakened form, but that's not all. The Thor 1 tricks that I've bumped into that are actually pretty good, they do this really annoying, stupid shit strat where they walk in behind, they always like jump over you as a tank, and then they spin up their push, and then they just keep pushing you into their team. Like they don't do anything else. They just stand there and just keep pushing. Like they just keep pushing you. They do nothing else. They don't go their awakened form. They don't do anything. But they do it to the other tank. They just keep pushing them. They just like, if you start playing aggressive, right? You start walking on them. What they'll do sometimes, they just go into a corner, wait for you to walk by, then they come up behind you, go boop, and just boop you really far in. They just keep kidnapping you on cooldown. But it works. And then, if you don't know this about Thor, if you use the hammer throw, or if you use the push, right? Like if you hit them right after, or within like 3 or 4 seconds, you hit somebody while the hammer's still glowing, you get that Thor force back, right? So you can push them, hit them, the 2-second cooldown comes down, use your awakened form. So like, let's say you kill their tank doing that by pushing them into your team, pop your awakened form, and you can probably delete a squishy that's coming up behind them. Actually really strong. Granted though, Support meta is really, really kind of keeping that at bay from being like taking over. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'm sorry. I still think Penny sucks. Penny is new bait. Everyone always says, oh, but Flats, but there's one guy in top 500. I don't care, okay? I played Overwatch for like 7 or 8 years. That happens. There's always at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who are insanely talented in one trick a character, and they learn how to get good at it, and they learn how to make it work in every situation, and those players are very talented. That does not mean that you should pick it every game thinking that you're going to be them, or in those situations. There's only 2 situations I found Penny is good in. One, they have a Wolverine, right? If they have a Wolverine, it's actually pretty okay. Like you can kind of with the mines, you can kind of with the webs, you know. The other is hard dive, but even then it's really not that good. I wouldn't do that. The only thing that's keeping Penny out of D tier for me is the fact that I don't have as much time on her to sit there and argue and like literally stand on that hill and fight the mob and be like, I know I'm right here. I have to put C to be like, there is potentially a small chance that there might be some things that I am not fully aware of, that there could be unlocked potential that I'm not fully aware of. She can stop Agamotto. This is what I mean by an noob bait character, because that's always the argument everyone makes. They always make the argument because she looks great on paper. She has a stun on a 3-second cooldown. She has movement on a 3 or 4-second cooldown. She does really good damage. She has good area denial. She has self-healing with the Spidish stuff. Like, she has all these amazing things on paper, but she doesn't do anything well. She just stands there and just gets shot in the head until she falls over. That's it. Like, on paper, she looks great. But like, you know what also can stop a strange ult? Another strange shield. You know what also can stop a strange ult? A Groot wall. You know what also can stop a strange ult? And half the support roster. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bajillion things. A mag shield, a mag bubble. There's a million things that can do it. And you know what those characters all do? Everything else better. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Magneto. I think Magneto's still one of the best tanks in the game. I think he's slightly... You know what? No, I'm standing on business. I don't give a f. I think Magneto has 2 things that are really good for him right now. Everything from the previous season still applies. But here's what he's really good at. The uprising of Cloak and Dagger shitters. Okay? I'm sorry. Listen, I love you guys. I genuinely do. But like, for some reason, there's this huge uptick in Cloak and Dagger players, and like, they are some of them are the worst players I've ever seen. They are genuinely awful. I don't know what it is, right? I'm not saying your Cloak and Dagger sucks. I'm not saying every Cloak and Dagger sucks, but there is a lot of them that are not very good. But you know what Cloak and Dagger's really good at? Building ult quickly. Do you know what Magneto's really good at? One-shotting Cloak and Dagger. Do you not know this? If you don't know this, Magneto can one-shot Cloak and Dagger by bonking you on the top of the head with Magneto ult in Cloak and Dagger ult. And you might say, Flats, like, what do you mean? How am I supposed to hit that? Well, Cloak and Dagger, when you're ulting, does that thing where you dash, pause, dash, pause, dash, pause, dash, pause. She sits completely still for a second. All you have to do is wait till she finishes her dash. Bonk! Poof! Gone instantly at 0 charge in Magneto's ult. 0. Bonk! And it won't be at 0. You'll get at least like 5 or 10, right? And she just dies. She can't cancel her ult. She can't go in cloak, nothing. The only thing that can stop it is a Magneto bubbling her. It's the only thing. So Magneto players now have to save their bubble for their Cloak and Dagger to not get ulted by their Magneto. It's very strong. Mag also is really good against the triple DPS comps. Sometimes those pop up. So yeah, Mag, really good. Hulk. I want to put Hulk in A. I genuinely do, but I can't. He's just a permaban every game. So like, I can't play him enough to know if my theory of he's not as strong as last season is still true. I don't get to play him ever. He's banned every game. That being said, though, he enables the second strongest team up in the game, the Gamma team up with Iron Man and Strange. So you never get to play the damn guy. But like, you can't solo tank Hulk. That's the thing. I don't think Hulk's as good as last season. So you might be saying, I think I put him in A last season. And you're like, Flats, how is he in S? It's like, well, if your character's getting banned every single game, he's got something there. The individual character might not be dominate, like he's very strong. Maybe not like the best character in the game, not like Hela levels of dominant, but he enables so much stuff to be dominant that like he's kind of a perma pick. So like, don't shoot the messenger, you know? There's not much I can really do there. All right, let's move on to the DPS. First up, Hela. I think anyone who doesn't think Hela is still S tier is crazy. Like, actually, legitimate Delulu. I think that the nerf only changed a breakpoint, I think in, is it 275 HP characters, I believe? Is the only thing that it changed a breakpoint in. She's still legitimately insane. And if you get into a game with a server admin Hela, you remember, oh shit, this is why we ban Hela every game, right? Is it 250? I don't know if it was 250 or 275. There's one of them that changed the breakpoint for pretty significantly. It was either headshot or something else. You know what's funny? Some games Hela doesn't get banned and nobody picks Hela. And I'm like, dude, if I was a DPS player, I'd pick Hela and just run this every goddamn time. But like, I'm not an insane DPS player, so I can't do that. But it's like, guys, like, hello? Every time you get a Hela lobby, like, the whole game is taken over. I had one game yesterday. Where it was Hela Hawkeye on the enemy team. We steamrolled them like 3.5 minutes. They swapped Hela Hawkeye. They almost beat us because they were stomping us so hard because we couldn't do anything. We did their Hawkeye, we just killing people, and their Hela would 2-tap. It was like, oh, like what the do? We had to go Hela Hawkeye back. It was the only chance we had. Iron Man. Solid A. This is the Gamma team up makes him really, would probably put him into S. But you don't ever get the goddamn thing. And even if you do have the team up, you could still lose to Hela comps. You can't pick Iron Man every game. Like even the games where I have Hulk unlocked, I can't even play the Hulk Iron Man comps because typically Hela's still available and they just shit on the Iron Man. So it's like, but he's still really good. I can't put him much lower than this just because like those games do happen where he takes over, but I can't justify and say like he's like insane. I think that without the Gamma team up, I would say he probably falls into like low B, maybe even C actually. But the Gamma team up is what gives him this. Magic's just a solid B. Very middle of the road. Sometimes you bump into really good Magic players. Sometimes you bump into very average Magic players. I don't really bump into any shitty Magic players. Is that weird? I never really see any shitty Magic players. Like if somebody picks Magic, like they're always like, okay. They're always like, all right, like, okay. Like, you know, they're not carrying, but like they're not feeding. It's like very rare. Play quick play more? Well, this isn't a quick play tier list. I'm just, yeah, obviously people put quick play, like, but that's the thing that you don't take quick play seriously. If you have someone feeding in your quick play game, who cares? Like if you get, okay, this is a PSA to you. If you get genuinely mad at people in your quick play games, you need a serious, and I mean serious reality check because that's what it's for. It's supposed to be for fun. And also, you might say, where the f are they supposed to learn how to play those characters? Granted, the true answer is ranked. That's why people make alt accounts. That's why most really good players make another account to play on. Because ranked environment is the only place you're gonna get true good practice. But not everyone wants to make a new account every single time. And two, there's the idea of talking about smurfing around that, but at least mechanically, quick play is the place to learn about that. If the people who lose their mind in quick play are genuinely, like, in my opinion, some of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever seen. Like you are genuinely so out of touch with reality, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, Magic, very middle of the road. Mr. Fantastic, I'm sorry guys. I've only seen one Mr. Fantastic player who's like a Lord player already. And he's really not that. Like, he's actually pretty good at it. But like, he's just kind of a spectator sometimes. Character's not very good. I'm sorry. Like, there's some people that think, oh my god, he's actually so good, you don't know what to talk about. I heard blah, blah, blah. I'm like, at like Siegel, like apparently Siegel made like a tier list and put like Mr. Fantastic in the comments are all like, oh my god, you know what the f you're talking about. Like just barking at him, and it's like, dude, no matter what you put on these tier lists, somebody's gonna bark at you. That's the reality of content creation. Like, we all know that shit. But regardless though, it blows, man. There's just nothing to put there, and that's okay. I actually like that. You know what's weird? I kind of like that some characters are really good in this game and some characters are really shit. Because you know what though? there's something to be said about shit characters being played. How much of a flex is it to say that you got to Eternity or top 500 on a shit character? It's a flex, right? It's a bit of a flex. Not every character needs to be buffed to 50% win rate. I think that that's fine. I think it's fine to have characters that are not as good as others, especially when a game like Rivals is going to be releasing a character once every, what, 1.5 months? Yeah, every character is probably not going to be a huge hit. I think that's okay. I think it's fine. I don't know. I think it's funny. Moon Knight. Moon Knight's a solid A. The only reason I'm not putting him any higher is because without the Groot combo, he suffers a little bit on his ult, although his ult is so much better now after the buffs. Like, this is one of the most impactful buffs in the entire Season 1 patch note. That being said, though, he's not like a pick everywhere, so solid A. Not much to really say there. You know who is kind of a pick everywhere, though? Namor. Sorry, Namor. The voice actor himself came in my chat and told me it's supposed to be said Namor, even though I like saying Namor. Namor. Fun. Namor can be played pretty much anywhere. His Luna team up is insane, and he just does good damage. He's the anti-dive character with most of the really strong comps, like, or comps that can be strong, like your Venom comps, your Spidey comps, your Black Panther comps, your Iron Fist comps, your Iron Man comps, even in some way, your Psylocke, you know, all of these, hell, even Wolverine, he slows them down with his team up. He's really, really good. You can play Namor almost anywhere. Yeah, I'm sorry. Scarlett Witch, Wanda, that's still gonna be a year from me. Sorry. She just doesn't do much, you know. Her ult takes way too long to go off. Like, it's pretty easy to dodge unless you have like a big combo with like a portal or something. And she just doesn't do much damage. I'm sorry. Like, and this is a perfect example. Like, not every character has to be buffed to a 50% win rate at every rank and all the way across. Because like, I think there's a lot of people that think she's OP in like bronze, silver, gold, and think she's like busted and like a low skill character. But like, you know what the funny part of the argument of low skill characters is you don't ever really see these characters in GM. If they were truly low skill and truly OP, they'd be played every game. We had one of those in Overwatch called Brigitte. It's not low skill. Actually, if anything, if you can play Scarlet Witch in top 500, GM, Eternity, whatever rank, you are actually very skillful. That's my opinion. If you can make this work and actually be very good at the character in high rank, you are skilled. So that being said, the reason why you see her in a lot of those lower ranks is because like that's the only place she can really function. That's it. Black Panther. Low key, I kind of want to put him in A. I think he's really strong still. Even after the nerfs, like the nerfs definitely gutted him quite a bit. But nothing is funnier and sadder than hearing the cries of your support players. Like, where they're just like, oh my God! I'm just like, because like there's a Black Panther absolutely just mauling one of them in a corner, and there's just nothing, you can't save them. There's no way to save them. They're just dead. Like, that's it. You know, like, yeah, you're on your own, buddy. But like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of insane. Black Panther is support Wolverine. You know what? That's actually a good one. That's a good take. I like that one. But yeah, this tier list is only A and B only. Well, I mean, if you had eyeballs, you could see that's definitely not true. But like, I get the point you're trying to make. And the point you're kind of trying to make isn't as big of a flex as you think it is. It just means that most characters in this game are extremely strong in their own aspects, which gives them power to work in certain situations. That's it. Spidey, I think, has a lot of latent potential and can be really good in the right hands, and that's why I'm going to put him in the B with Magik. However, though, it just takes way too much to actually make him work every game, where you could just pick Hela or Namor or anything else and just turn your brain off and you win. That being said, though, like I was saying with Venom before, I'm a little bit higher up on Spidey because I'm a little bit higher up on Venom, where I think with proper bans, you can actually force this meta. You can actually force this to work. And I think people want to play characters that are super mechanically intensive. They just find them more fun. So whenever they get an excuse to play Spidey, DPS players get an excuse to play Spidey and Venom and whatever, I think they'll take it. And I don't think it will take too long for that to happen. You know? I don't think it will take too long. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We'll see. But from what I've seen, with proper bans, it can work. Who knows? Starlord. I kind of want to put him in S. I'm not going to, but I want to. I'm not going to. Well, hang on. Let me look at the rest of this roster. No, I am actually. I am going to. Starlord can be picked almost anywhere. He did lose a little bit of his power, because Adam Warlock's not as good, in my opinion at least. Especially with like the way the triple support comps are working now. It's not like high damage triple support, it's more like high healing triple support. Yeah, Starlord works pretty much anywhere, to the point where his ult is so strong that either you need a support ult to counter it, or the big one is actually Magneto. Oh, I forgot to mention that in the Magneto section. Oh yeah, the other reason why you pick Magneto is because you can completely negate Starlord ult. So you basically play Magneto ult. If you've ever played Overwatch, you play it like Diva Defense Matrix, where you just fly up and hold the thing in front of them. That way you don't take as much damage for the people underneath, like absorbing damage, and you just literally follow them around with it. And basically until it blows. Like it's like, if it's like literally about to blow, you can throw it and try to get as much damage as you can. But otherwise, like it's okay to just let it pop, because you save your whole team from killing people. Punisher ult too? No. Punisher, well, okay. Here's the thing with Punisher ult. Punisher ult will break it in half a second. So the way you stop Punisher ult with Magneto is you pop ult and then immediately throw that bitch. Like instantly. That's not how you play it versus Starlord. Starlord is you hold it up and go for like 3 clips, and then you can throw it or it'll break. Punisher is like boom, and it's immediately throw it, because like it doesn't last long enough, you know. But you can insta kill the Punisher. Like that's where you can have value. Storm is S tier. Storm might be the best character in the game now. Genuinely, I think actually win rate wise she might be. Chad, does anyone have a link really quick to the website with all the win rates and stuff? I think Storm might be the highest win rate character in the game. I don't even know that off the top of my head. I would not be surprised if she is. Basically, this website works a lot like Overbuff used to back in old Overwatch, like 2016 to 2018, before private profiles existed. I don't think the actual Marvel Rivals statistics themselves are put out yet. I think they put that out like once a month or something. But yeah, it shows Storm is the highest win rate character in the game. Rocket Raccoon's actually number 2. I'm actually not even that surprised by that. Wow, Magic's higher than I thought. Okay, well, we should do this another time. That should be a totally different section. I don't want that to influence my opinion. But yeah, Storm is insane. Honestly, I'm not even surprised by that in any way, shape, or form. Punisher. You know, I don't think Punisher is as good as he was last season, but I still think he's probably deserves the A. It's weird, like he's more, like last season he was like towards the upper A, now he's like towards the bottom A in some ways, but he's still very good. And I just solid. You can always pick Punisher in almost every situation and okay. It won't be the best pick, but like, it will do all right. You know who is a little bit better though is Bucky. Bucky's actually a little bit better. After the changes from season 1. Bucky's really good. I wouldn't say he's like a must pick. You know, you can absolutely work without a Bucky, but like I used to kind of sometimes get a little sad if I had a Bucky on my team that wasn't wanted. But now it's not that bad. I think he's actually pretty okay. And the Rocket team up actually helps him out quite a bit. It helps Punisher a lot too, but it helps Bucky just as much, if not more. Hawkeye. I think anyone who thinks Hawkeye is bad is crazy. The only difference is I think people realized from season 0 that he's not consistent. Because I remember I was one of the few tier lists who put him in A as opposed to S. And now everyone has him in A, and he barely got any changes. The only difference is that he's not as consistent as Hela, and he's not as consistent with his damage, but he still has the one shot and can still absolutely fuck you, you know? That doesn't mean everyone's good at him though. That doesn't mean people know how to play him. They don't know how to deal with a one shot, because one shots in these types of games are borderline impossible to deal with. If you sit there and look me in the eyes and go, just play LOS, shut up. You can't play LOS at all times in a game like this. You can't do it. Not possible. You should a good amount of the time, but that one time you do peak, you will die. It's like, okay, like what are you gonna put? When are you supposed to play the game, right? But he also still does a lot of damage to tanks, which kind of sucks for me. Psylocke. I don't know if I want to put Psylocke in S. Psylocke absolutely could be an S. But I kind of want to lean B, or not B, sorry, A. I'm going to lean A on Psylocke. And the reason I'm going to lean A on Psylocke is because the meta right now is triple support. And I'll talk about the support stuff when we get there. But Psylocke does really good at picking off supports, but not when there's 3 of them. When there's 3 of them, it's too much. You kind of, like, they just hold each other's hands, and then you kind of really can't do as much. And also, her ult's got some pretty decent nerfs with the shield nerf. Like, when you hold up the shield, it hits Strange's shield as well as hits Strange. So, like, less damage is getting put out. It allows, like, something like Mantis ult to survive easier. Things like Magneto to survive easier, take less damage. You know what I mean? Like, the changes that they made to Psylocke's ult definitely impact her, but she's still really good. Squirrel Girl, I think, is low-key, potentially secretly broken. I gotta put her in B, because I don't think she's as consistently good as, like, these characters up in the A tier. But low-key, Squirrel Girl might be secretly busted. If you are listening to this section, you didn't skip to the end, I think you should play more Squirrel Girl. And the reason why I think that is because everyone is so used to the high healing that with her ult and with her hard spam, you actually can dominate teams, especially if they play like 2 or 3 tanks. Seagull was showing off some Squirrel Girl tech. Yeah, I know he's on his Squirrel Girl arc. I low-key think that she is potentially busted, but people haven't figured it out yet, right? It's the same thing happened in Overwatch, right? Wait, there was a few seasons ago where I said Junkrat is low-key broken, right? And everyone was like, nah, he's not good. And then like a month later, all the Junkrat, because I know what happened? I saw the Junkrat one tricks. They re-emerged in GM. They came out of hibernation. They were like, holy shit, this character's playable. And I was like, guys, low key, I think he's gonna be workable. Because like I've seen the Junkrat one tricks, they returned. And I made a tier list and I got flamed hardcore for it. They're like, no, Junkrat sucks, he needs buffs. And then like literally the next season, everyone's like, S tier, best character in the game. Bro, actually destroying. Squirrel Girl could potentially be that. You know who also has a lot of potential? Black Widow. Hear me out. Hear me out. Look at the S tier characters and a little bit of the A tier. Flying, hit scan, flying. What do we know about flying characters in video games like this? Hit scan characters typically do pretty well against them. I don't think I've seen enough Black Widow players yet to really say, oh my god, she's really slept on, but I think she's slept on. I think she's actually like potential. There is some potential there. She's definitely worse than Mr. Fantastic. Nah, I don't really think so. You also got to think too, with the triple support being meta, if you do hit the double dink on their backline, you will kill someone. How many characters can you do that with at the moment? There's not many, right? I have a feeling that Black Widow is better than we think, but there isn't enough people playing her yet, or not enough people that have learned Black Widow to really solidify my claim. But that's the best part of tier lists. I get to say whatever the I want and whatever nonsense that I believe is potentially true. And yeah, it could be wrong, but that's okay. That's okay. That's the point of these. It's like, I can tell you what is meta and what is played a lot, which is like a lot of this stuff up here. But that's what the fun part of this list is with down here, is because I can go, oh shit, this is better than I thought, or nah, this is worse than you guys think. You know who's also slept on a little bit is Iron Fist. I think Iron Fist has already been written off by every high tier player, by every high ranked player, as really destroys in bronze to gold, but is shit in the higher ranks. But there's like 1 or 2 really good Iron Fist players that I've seen in like GM, well actually, well it's GM right now, but it's gonna keep climbing because like the ranked reset with like top 500. Low key, kind of know how to make them work. Low key, it's like, ooh, there might be more to that character than we've realized yet, you know? Especially with Black Panther getting nerfed. Black Panther, you know, there was a point in the betas where people didn't think he was very good, and then they started learning and went, oh shit, that character's actually strong, really strong. Here's what I love about Rivals. It's turning everyone's brains upside down, where they think they know something that to be true, and then it ends up not being even close. Subflum. I don't think this is a huge hot take. Wait, this actually might be a hot take. You know what? It is a hot take, but I don't care. I think Wolverine is insane. Wolverine is my permaban, and I'll tell you why. I'm a tank player. Wolverine stops me from even playing the video game. Wolverine can literally shut down one tank player from actually doing anything. At all. Period. Period. I cannot tell you how many games I've had where I am shit stomping. Like, I am bullying their front line. 1v2 sometimes. Solo tank versus double tank. And they go Wolverine, and we start getting spawn camped. I'll tell you. I instantly ban Wolverine in every game now. I'm tired of getting kidnapped. I'm tired of getting thrown into a back alley. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. He didn't need any buffs. But that's also, I mean, partly it's win rate, but also it's all of our faults. Like, it's the whole community's fault that he got buffed, because all of us thought that he was really weak in the beginning and didn't figure it out till the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, that he was actually probably kind of strong. And so the win rates were still probably low because like people didn't know the combos yet and probably just kind of tanked them really hard. But I hope whenever they do the next set of balance, they walk back that Wolverine stuff, because I'm sick of it, personally. I'm sick of it. All right. The most interesting but also least interesting section, support. It's least interesting for me because this is like a foregone conclusion on like how it works. But it's interesting probably to you because there's not probably a whole lot of you here that have ever experienced something like this before. And by that, let me scare you with something called goats. No, I'm just kidding. It's not actually tanks. It's supports. Back in Overwatch 1, when goats was dominant, it wasn't tanks that dominated the meta, it was supports. And I'm not saying that's what we have right now, but we do have a triple support comp that is really strong in the high rank meta already. And what is causing that is just the layers of support ults and also just high damage, high healing, right? First up, Adam Warlock. I'll talk as we get there, but Adam Warlock is not really part of it. I think Adam Warlock is kind of not that great at the moment. It could be partly because people just don't know how to play him very well, but Adam doesn't do a whole lot of healing. The big things for him is his high damage and also his soul bond, and then the res, and also enabling the other 2 reses with Mantis and Starlord. But there's just way better things to bring to the fight now. You know, you don't need to be revived if you never died. Does that make sense? Like, you don't need to res if you never died. And with the current really good supports, you just won't die. So like, why get rezzed if you did? You know what I mean? Why get rezzed if you never died, right? Invisible Woman, S tier. Very funny. It actually ended up being almost exactly what I predicted when I first started playing the characters, when I got to try stuff early, which again was super cool. Like, I'm not in like their creator program or anything like that, but yeah, they reached out like the same day that was happening. We're like, hey, do you want to test this stuff? And I was like, yeah. And I remember looking at Invisible Woman and be like, damn, that's strong. And Mr. Fantastic was like, yeah, I don't think he's really that good. Invisible Woman's really good for a few things. One, she kind of shuts down Hulk in a lot of ways. She actually kind of shuts down Wolverine in a lot of ways. She stops Strange ult in a lot of ways with her push. She also, her ultimate is really strong. It can stop Storm. If you Invisible Woman ult, Storm ult, you will not die. Like, if you die, like if Storm chases you specifically as a support, you die as to a Storm ult. But with Invisible Woman ult, you will not die. Does she shut down Starlord ult? I don't know if I don't think so actually. She shuts down a lot of ults and basically makes it so I don't think you can kill through Strange ults. Strange ult combo might not work in Invisible Woman ults. I'm actually not sure on that one. Like, I mean, even if you hit the Strange ult, right? Like, you hit the Strange ult and then do the combo, like, can you actually one-shot someone through her ult? I don't actually know if you can. I don't think you can. But yeah, anyways, though, really, really strong. This might be a bit of a hot take. I think Jeff is slept on again, a little bit. I think there's actually more potential to Jeff than people realize. I think so. Listen, okay? Listen. There is like a few Jeff players that are like Jeff one tricks in the top 500 range, and they're legitimately disgusting. They are like, they are demons. They never die, and You might think like, oh, like everyone's learned how to play against the ult. They did, but they've learned how to adapt. They've gotten better. I had a Jeff on my team the other day who hard carried us. He literally killed 5 every single time he ulted. That's not true. He killed 5 once, he killed 4 once, and he killed 4 once, and then he killed 3 once. Insane. It was disgusting. And you know, he's kind of hard to kill. He's slippery. He's just always alive. But you know what makes Jeff work? 3 supports. Because all the supports are really strong, and 3 supports is arguably the best comp right now, you can slip Jeff in there and you don't notice a huge difference in utility or healing. Actually, it's where Jeff's utility kind of helps a little bit with the little bubbles all over the place and his ult. And he actually can kind of sneak off on the back and DPS 1v1 somebody on the back line somewhere on a flank. Low key, it kind of works. I don't know. I think there's more potential than people have realized. This might be a bit of a hot take. I think Loki could do I want to do that just yet? No, I don't want to do that. Hang on, let's do this first. Luna's easy S tier. Easy S tier. Luna might be the best character in the game right now. Or close to it. Close to it for Luna. 12-second ult. Team up with Namor. Is there anything else I even really to say? Just insane. Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? I'm putting him back. Hang on, I'm putting him back. I'm doing something else first. Rocket is an A. Listen to me. I think Rocket, I hate having a Rocket on my team, okay? But you can never deny this never dies. He never dies. He has ult quick. He has a good team up with Punisher and with Winter Storm, Bucky. He never dies, and he's always the first person who has ult. And there's something Rocket can do that people have not realized yet. You almost never shoot on the little raccoon. You never shoot. You always are pretty much healing. But that's because you were running 2 supports. You had to constantly heal because you couldn't keep up otherwise. But when you have 3, you don't have to right click all the time. He shreds if he's up close. He shreds. And because you have triple support, you don't have to be healing everyone all the time. Sometimes you actually get to do a little bit of damage. Or if there's a flanker, you actually can kind of smoke the ass, right? It's weird. It's weird. There's no reason for Rocket to be good. Like on paper, on everything that you look at for the character, he shouldn't be good. But for some reason, there's a bunch of rat one tricks in top 500 right now. And they never die. If you look at their stats, they always have like 40,000 healing and they have 2 deaths the entire game. It's weird. It's weird. I don't understand it even myself. I just gave you the best example of what I have for myself with it. But I think he's sneaky good. I don't know. That's what my gut tells me. Oh, this gets really hard really quick. Am I just gonna rip it? Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna put Cloak and Dagger in S. And I don't want to put them in S, but I'm going to anyways. And the reason I'm gonna put them here is because they're so easy to play and you get so much value from just like spam healing. Everyone picks them every game. But most people suck on this goddamn character. They're so goddamn bad at it. They don't know how to play it. And but the thing is though, they build the ult so fast and the ult is like pretty good, right? Like as long as you don't get Magneto ulted, it's a pretty good ult. You can kind of like turn your brain off and just play it, and like, it's a good fill character. And you know, so like a lot of people end up playing Cloak and Dagger if you don't play support. Like if I get stuck on support, I'll play Cloak and Dagger because like I can hit left click and let it bounce around. I can throw the bubble thing at the ground. I can do my cloak spin as like my little Suzu, whatever. But I don't like, I think the Cloak and Dagger, I think is like a very much a crutch character at the moment where it's just like, I don't even know why they're good. Like they just put out so much healing, but like they don't do much else. And a lot of times they're like they're either the first to die or the last to die. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's very strange. And I don't know how else to explain it, but that's just where we're at. Mantis. See, this is where I'm struggling between these two. Because I don't think Mantis is as good. I think Mantis is 1000% a tier below now what they were before. But I've run into this problem where I've put myself into a corner. Because I think Adam and Jeff are worse than Rocket. But I don't think Rocket and Mantis are on the same level. But I don't think Mantis is on the same level as everybody up here. So I've kind of put myself in a bit of a weird predicament where I kind of have, like, I need to do this. I think I just have to. I don't think I have a choice. No, but it's... Okay, let me explain. I'm going to put it here. The reason why I'm going to put this here in S is because, like I said before with triple support's really strong, right? A lot of games, at least Luna or Cloak, is getting banned. Some games, even Invisible Woman, right? The bans in my games end up looking like this. Storm, Wolverine, Hela, Hulk, right? But sometimes Storm doesn't get banned, sometimes Hulk doesn't get banned, sometimes Hela doesn't get banned. When those ones don't get banned, and I say that for me personally because I'm banning the Wolverine. There are games where Wolverine doesn't get banned either, but like I'm saying mine personally. One of these gets banned, one of these three. When one of these three gets banned, Mantis slips into their spot. But Mantis isn't the only one who slips into that spot. Loki also slips into that spot. And the reason why Loki slips into the spot is because if Cloak and Dagger gets banned, you copy Luna, and you have 2 Luna ults, and you have 24 seconds of time where nobody dies. If Luna gets banned, you can copy either Invisible Woman or Cloak, and you either have another giant cone ult or another Cloak and Dagger ult, where you just stand in it and you can't die, right? Loki just capitalizes on the other supports being really strong. Mantis, though, is the weird one, where Mantis, when you play these triple support comps, isn't doing a whole lot of healing, is actually doing more damage boosting. So you're a lot of damage boosting the Hela if you have one. You're damage boosting the Namor if you have one. You're damage boosting the Storm if you have one. You're damage boosting the Starlord if you have one. And so you're constantly just more or less handing out damage boost and also damage boosting yourself, and you're doing tons of damage. And so when somebody gets low, especially like another support, that's when you heal the supports. But like, you're not really in charge of healing your tanks. You're not really in charge of healing everybody. You're more of the enabler of the third support, right? Which, again, remember, when I was talking about it earlier, Rocket also falls into that category. Jeff also falls into that category. Even Adam Warlock also falls into that category as the third support, right? Enabler / like builds ult really quickly / can actually duel and does a lot of damage. Jeff, weirdly enough, doesn't have to worry about healing, can do more dueling, can work more with his ult, can work more with his bubbles, and just is super survivable. And Adam, just more damage, soul bond, and res if everybody dies, right? So it's like, none of these three have the insane healing of the top level, but they can work well as the third support, which is why I'm high up on these, right? So it's very strange. But yeah, so if you skipped ahead, I don't blame you, everyone does it, but go back, at least to points that you are confused about. Because if you're like, why is Penny in C? I explain why Penny is in C. Or if you explain, why is Cap in A? Some of these I'm higher up on due to their team ups or possible latent potential that I think hasn't been unlocked yet by the community. So go back and watch it. Don't just look at the end and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you put Black Widow in B. Shut up, go back and look at it. Because then you'll see why I put it there, okay? You can disagree with it then, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't just jump to the end and go, I don't care. Go watch it and hear about the nuance behind it. Anyways, though, yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential in a lot of these characters that just haven't been unlocked yet, especially on the lower end. And yeah, here you go. Sorry I was a little bit later. Hell, this even might be a little bit early, but here you go. Here's your Season 1 Marvel Rivals tier list.